Final Fantasy VII has now been beaten in under 7 minutes. But it's complicated. In late 2024, a new glitch in the game was found called the unfocus glitch. And even at the time, it was pretty controversial. The glitch involves clicking off of the game's window and then clicking back into the game, causing some really strange results. It was found to be useful in speedruns for multiple different things because it allowed you to reload fields while holding certain pieces of memory. You could do things like activate Jesse Skip without having to activate the text box glitch, and skip entire sections of dialogue. You can even use the unfocus glitch to trick the game into placing Cloud onto the world map module after the very first fight in the game. The legendary Midgar skip could have finally been found, but unfortunately it places you in the middle of the ocean. However, before the full power of the unfocus glitch could be realized, a vote was held to decide whether or not it should be banned from speedruns. The two big arguments for banning the unfocus glitch were as follows. Number 1, it is very similar or can even be considered as hardware manipulation. And number 2, it could very easily ruin all of the PC routes due to its volatility. Let's start with number 1. A lot of people in the community considered this to be hardware manipulation, as you Alt-Tab or click off of the main screen of Final Fantasy VII back into Windows, and then back into the game. Hardware manipulation in general is banned in almost every speedrun because it's basically a slippery slope. If you allow people to touch the console that the game is playing on, other than to just switch discs or reset the game, it becomes this snowball effect as what's stopping people from doing glitches like changing the disc to a different game and having it load strange things, scratching up their discs to have different effects on the game, even juicing up the console itself to make it load faster. Final Fantasy VII itself has a lot of glitches involving opening the disc tray at certain times and swapping in different discs. So in speedrunning in general, hardware manipulation is usually banned. And this glitch does toe the line of a type of hardware manipulation on PC. However, the community was split. Some community members felt like this wasn't hardware manipulation because the game itself is what caused this glitch to happen. Even though you do click off of the game itself is what holds those memory values. There is code in the game that causes it to hold these memory values when the game gets unfocused. And when you focus back into the game, the glitch that happens because of this is all due to the game's code. Windows isn't causing any of this to happen. Furthermore, there's no rules against clicking off of your game. A lot of runners will do this while running the game in order to read their Twitch chat or do anything else on their computer, and there's never been a rule against that. So the first argument was a bit mixed in the community, but the second argument was a lot more straightforward. Allowing the unfocus glitch would potentially destroy 9 years of Final Fantasy VII history, as all of the PC routes would be completely destroyed depending on how strong the unfocus glitch ended up being. The biggest issue with the unfocus glitch was that it was very volatile. Unfocus at the wrong time and the game will very often hardlock, completely ruining an attempt. The past 9 years of Final Fantasy VII PC optimization would now become how many unfocus glitches are you willing to do in a run without accidentally hardlocking your game. The glitch had the potential to save so much time that basically if you were willing to do 1 or 2 more than the previous runner, you could beat their time with relative ease. At the time, it wasn't really understood why these hardlocks happened, so it felt like complete luck as to whether or not your run would be destroyed at any moment. The community was in general agreement that allowing the unfocus glitch into every category of the game would completely destroy the PC speedrun. But there was nothing about the unfocus glitch that felt like it should be completely outright banned. In general, when it comes to speedrunning, faster is almost always better. Even if a glitch is super difficult, even if it's super RNG heavy, if it's faster, most speedruns will allow it. I've seen in many other speedrun communities super difficult or volatile tricks that almost get banned, but the community will always find a way to band together and get it to work in runs and save that extra time. Even something in Final Fantasy VII like elevator skip was thought to be so difficult that there was no way anyone was going to do it in their runs. But because there was no reason to outright ban it, we just decided to buckle down and practice it. And after a long time practicing it, most of the top level speedrunners will get a perfect elevator in their best speedrun. But when it came to the unfocus glitch, a lot of people in the community just felt like it wasn't indicative of a speedrun, and it just felt so random that it didn't feel like it fit in the competitive categories. But there was truly no reason to outright ban it. And so, the decision was made to remove it from the competitive categories, but to allow it to be done in the free FPS category. The free FPS category is basically a catch-all for all the weird rule changes we've had to make over the years to make the PC version competitive. Once we found out that the FPS of the game was so inaccurate, and even stuff like the refresh rate on your monitor could change your overall time, changes had to be made in order for the game to stay competitive. But the moderators didn't want to delete all of the old runs that were made before the rule changes. In addition, moderators didn't want there to be too big of a barrier to entry to running Final Fantasy VII, so we wanted a category that was good for beginners before they had to download software and learn how to play the game competitively. And so the free FPS category was made, both to chronicle all of the old speedruns of the game, and to allow new runners to run the game without having to download any FPS fix software. Because this was kind of the Wild West category, it was decided to allow Unfocus Glitch in this category as well. But now fast forward to May of 2025. We now know much more about the Unfocus Glitch. We have found out that unfocusing on a very specific frame is what causes the game to hardlock. Some runners, like a Sleepy Jake, have learned to dodge this specific frame and have done full runs with the Unfocus Glitch. Then community member Chucky finds a version of the Unfocus Glitch that allows you to keep your position on the world map on one save file and transition it to another save file. His plan was to use this glitch in the All Bosses category, but then the community realized this could be used in the New Game Plus category. New Game Plus is a category that allows you to keep save files on your memory card when starting a new speedrun. You still have to have a new game that makes it through the entire game, but you're allowed to use these other save files for certain glitches like materia smuggling and wrong warping. The New Game Plus category actually has a really cool history when it comes to the overall history of the Final Fantasy VII speedrun, and you can learn more about that in my Wrong Warp documentary. Now remember, the Unfocus Glitch allowed us to get all the way to the world map from the very first fight in the game, but we were stuck on the ocean. With this new glitch that Chucky found, the community realized that we could take Cloud from the ocean and transfer him back to the mainland. Now in the normal New Game Plus speedrun, as soon as you get out of Midgar, the game ends only a few minutes later by implementing a wrong warp set up by a pre-made save. So now in this new version of the New Game Plus speedrun, the player would fight the first fight in the game, warp out to the world map, and then immediately wrong warp to the end of the game, beating the game in less than 10 minutes. Shortly after this was found, a Sleepy Jake would take this as far as it could go and beat the game in under 7 minutes. Now you can see why I titled the video the way I did, because this is a revolutionary find for Final Fantasy VII. We are now beating the game in under 7 minutes. Midgar skip is actually real, but it's only in New Game Plus, having pre-made saves. And although New Game Plus is a really cool category that has a big history in the Final Fantasy VII speedrun scene, per the rules of the speedrun community, this is only in the free FPS category as well. So to recap, this glitch is only allowed in the free FPS New Game Plus PC speedrun, a very niche category of the game. It also can only be done with pre-made saves. One to glitch Cloud off of the ocean and back onto the world map proper, and one to do the wrong warp as it's normally done. So I'd be interested to hear what you guys think of this. We know what the speedrun community thinks, but what do you guys think? This glitch is a glitch that happens in the game. Although you do tab out into Windows, it's the game itself doing the glitch. And although for speedrun's sake and for beating the game in under 7 minutes, you need to have pre-made saves, but you could start the game, play all the way up to where you need to set up the wrong warp, and then start a new game and do this glitch and it would work. So it does work without having pre-made saves, but you need the pre-made saves in order to beat it any quicker than you would normally. So obviously there's a lot of nuance to it, but it is still a very cool find for the history of glitches in Final Fantasy VII, even if in terms of the speedrun, it's only for one very niche category.